Welcome. This is the 4th and 1 podcast. I am your host, Captain Boring, and Simeon coming in with the fire intro.
This is what happens when your sound bites are broken.
Yeah,
and
you
have
might want to cut that before we get copyright infringement, my dude.
Well, here's the deal: this is already a mashup and a copyright infringement, so I'm copyright infringing a copyright infringing.
Okay.
So,
all right. So then it's all fair. What's fair in love and war? Welcome to a brand new episode. This is our first episode post college football season. Well, why college football is kind of on a break here in between the conference championship games and bowl season, which is coming up and getting started this Friday. And then Saturday they got a full slate, and then they are off and running. So, listen. There are 3 heads instead of 2. They always say 3 heads are better than 1. That is our NBA expert, Jebediah Walton. He is here with us, so he's going to jump in. What's up, my man? How's it going? The 2K legend himself.
What's good?
At least on rookie mode. So, without further ado, because I want to give you tons of time to talk today, we're going to jump right into the check down.
my buttons decided to just kind of stop working in general.
You got the drums going. Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator at Clemson, has taken the Virginia Cavaliers job. That is the University of Virginia. So, Clemson has lost both Brent Venables, their defensive coordinator, and Tony Elliott, their offensive coordinator, this offseason. So Dabo Swinney's got some rebuilding to do. Does he go outside? Does he stay in the family? Who knows? Here's the deal. Tony Elliott turned down in recent years both Tennessee and Mississippi State to take a much lower level job and compete not only in the same conference, but in the same division as his mentor and right now, King of the Roost in the ACC, Dabo Swinney. Yes, I know Pitt is the current ACC champion, but let's be honest, when they're at their height of their power, Clemson is the big boy on the block. Simeon, I just don't see how this really is a smart move for Tony Elliott. Smart move for Virginia, but not a real smart move for Tony Elliott.
No, I thought it was a very smart move. Smaller school time. It's his first head coaching gig, so it's his first time that he can kind of find his feet and go elsewhere. Because what's the worst that happens? He goes to be an OC somewhere else, or it works around in his favor. He's also in the North, not in the Southern Conference, so he doesn't have the same competition. So I actually thought it was a smart move overall for him. It doesn't surprise me that he wanted to leave after his. I think it says more about Dabo Swinney than it does about Tony Elliott, though.
I don't know about that. I just think that Virginia's never been a highlight job, so clearly this is a stepping stone to a much bigger job. But the problem is his offenses are not successful without superstars at the quarterback and wide receiver position, and his offenses definitely don't work without a offensive line, as most offenses do. So.
Sure.
So, I mean, he's inheriting a high-flying offense from Bronco Mendenhall, who just left Virginia to step away from football. So, I mean, maybe he'll have some success, but we'll have to see where this leads to, I think, in the future. Dan Lanning gets the Oregon job. He is the defensive coordinator at Georgia. So instead of preparing for Michigan, well, he will still do that in the playoff semifinal. He is now going to try to build a staff at Oregon and get ready for Michigan's offense, who, as we mentioned last week, Josh Gaddis got the assistant coach of the year, who is the offensive coordinator for Michigan. So he's got his hands full. This I don't like. This move, again, I can see your side of it, Simeon. I will argue with you if you think Dan Lanning to Oregon is a smart move. It doesn't fit. I think he's just, again, there for a stepping stone job. It is a defensive coordinator at a typically offensive-minded school. I just don't think it works.
Sorry, Jeb looked like he had something to say. I think he's just chilling right now. No, you said something very poised, maybe is the right word, on Instagram over the weekend when it was first announced. It seems like their fifth choice.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is very... I don't like this. You're going East Coast to West Coast. Like you said, you're going to a, mostly offensive school. Maybe it's what Oregon needs. Probably not. If I was Oregon, I would have preferred Clemson's offensive coordinator. But, it's...
And
this means that... But this also means, remember, we have to say this, Oregon lost their offensive coordinator... Also, their defense coordinator, right?
Yeah, I mean,
the
whole staff's gone. Yeah,
the whole staff's gone. So now he has to build a brand new staff as
Josh Gaddis,
first-time coach.
As a first-time coach, a 35-year-old first-time coach as Jim Harbaugh, Josh Gaddis, and that top 5 rushing attack comes into the semifinal. All I'm saying is he's got his hands
I don't
full.
think I think it's smart for him. I don't think it's smart for Oregon, and that's all that I care about right now.
Agreed. Urban Meyer, man, he's having a tough time. So his quarterback calls him out. Trevor Lawrence, the second coming of Peyton Manning, I think at this point we should classify him as, has called him out, saying that the best player isn't on the field a lot. That would be James Robinson, Jacksonville's running back. Then they asked him about it, and he says, well, leaks get you fired. There are some reports that he's making his coordinators prove to him that their resume is better than his resume. It just doesn't seem like a good fit. The owner pledges to do the right thing by Urban and give him time. I thought that this was a good hire. I thought that Urban would bring structure to a structureless kind of franchise, but all he's brought is that his college mojo, and it has turned out to just backfire on him in the worst of ways. Trevor Lawrence, again, first overall pick, playing behind a terrible offensive line with terrible weapons, but when your rookie quarterback is going out and calling you out, saying that why isn't James Robinson on the field, you got a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where he was probably a good coach because of what he was able to do with college-age kids and not with actual men and actual adults. And it's different. These guys can do whatever they want. They've made it in most of these states. If he wants to play with a crappy team, he can, but moving on, honestly, that's kind of where I'm at with
this. So I do expect Urban to kind of be fired if things are still going the way things are going. In other NFL news, the NFL has mandated booster shots for Tier 1 and Tier 2 level staff, so that's everyone involved with players and kind of executives in the offices. So, again, if they mandated the vaccine to begin with, so these are just mandating the booster shots. Also, on Monday, I believe, they had 39 positive COVID cases, and they had 79 total from the end of August to that day. So COVID cases are rising. 9 Browns players, including Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, and 4 defensive starters, ended up on the Browns COVID list. So rosters are kind of getting thin as a new or the same wave, just the colder weather is enhancing it, of COVID is kind of now spreading around. It's it's kind of ripping apart the NFL right now. So hopefully everyone is healthy and recovers quickly and the symptoms are minimal. But NFL GMs and coaches are going to earn their paychecks. And if you thought COVID was gone, boy, were you heavily mistaken. In sad NFL news, former Broncos wide receiver and wide receiver in general, Demaryius Thomas, has died, was found dead in his home earlier this week. And police and authorities seem to think it was an underlying medical condition. His family seems to think he had a seizure. So we'll wait for the autopsy to see if any kind of CTE or anything like head trauma had to do with it. But he was a stud for Peyton Manning. If you remember Peyton Manning's run with the Broncos, it was Peyton to Demaryius Thomas almost as often as it was Peyton to Marvin Harrison. He was the big play kind of catch guy. Also, he caught the winning touchdown pass against Pittsburgh in the Tim Tebow season. So, I mean, he was a Broncos staple, so Broncos paid homage to him on Sunday, only taking the field with 10 players. And finally, my pick for the preseason Heisman Trophy, Spencer Rattler announces his transfer to South Carolina. Can't tell you how much I hate that, especially for Spencer Rattler. He's going from a conference that plays very little defense to a conference that plays, well, more defense than a little, and going to a team that is rebuilding and not at the top. So I guess he kind of took what he could get. However, they are thin at quarterback. Shane Beamer needs a quarterback. They are 6-6, so that definitely kind of solidifies that South Carolina position. And I'm sure Simeon's happy that Spencer didn't make the Heisman, as we had a bet on that. Or we challenged.
Did not remember.
Yeah,
remember
I don't
that
remember
bet.
what we bet, but we did challenge each other.
One thing I will say here, real quick. I guess good for Spencer. I'm actually going to be. This wasn't the only interesting thing today. Is National Signing Day.
Yes, it is National Signing Day. Yes.
The first time since ESPN has been ranking high school athletes.
Mm-hmm.
An FCS school has signed a 5-star prospect.
The number 2 overall
The number 2 overall player, cornerback, Travis Hunter flipped from Florida State. Good call to go to Jacksonville State under Coach Deion Sanders.
Coach Prime.
That's all I'm going to say about that. Just found it interesting.
No,
fun
I
fact.
totally forgot about that. That's good that you brought it up. It is the first time. That is just a thing of Deion's an excellent recruiter, and why wouldn't you go play for one of?
He had a great season.
Why wouldn't you go and play for one of the greatest NFL corners of all time to be your coach?
100%.
Now the downside of doing that is you're not playing at the same level of competition you are if you go to Florida State or if you go somewhere else. So, but that's his draft stock. So we'll see. We'll keep tabs on Travis Hunter over the years. That has been the check down. Sorry to scare you. My man, Jeb. It is NBA season. It's almost Christmas, which the NBA normally has a wide slate of Christmas games, and Christmas Day is normally when kind of the NBA really hits its stride and takes off as college football ends, and it's just competing with the National Football League. So, first and foremost, Steph Curry last night became the all-time leader in NBA three-point makes, passing Ray Allen. He did it at Madison Square Garden. It was a very cool moment. And Mark Jackson, back in 2013, we were kind of talking about this, said that it's easy to coach when you coach the greatest shooting backcourt of all time, that being Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So, I just want to get your thoughts on Klay, where he does fall, not only in terms of the greatest shooter of all time category, but also the greatest point guard of all time category.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think he definitely belongs in the greatest. It's hard though, because I mean he's not a true point guard. So like when I think of like greatest point guards of all time, I think about John Stockton, Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas. Stephen Curry's a much different player than those guys. Like, and I don't mean to, obviously go back on this because you know how much I love the Ball family.
Sure.
But LaMelo Ball, to me, if he continues to play the way he is, he would be more, of a better representation of like what a true good point guard. I mean, LaMelo Ball on December 1st put up 36 points on the Bucks. I mean, that's crazy. Like, and he's really young. He was performing in Australia. He came into the NBA. Everybody thought he was going to be good, and he's outperformed everybody's expectations. You know what I mean? Like guys like Zion Williamson, nobody's even talking about that guy anymore. It's all about LaMelo Ball and Ja Morant out of Memphis. So, but I don't even think Ja Morant, I wouldn't even put him in that point guard category. Like I think Stephen Curry is sort of like he's like a Dwayne Wade-esque type of position player with like a much better jump shot. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, his career average for assists is like 7 a game, 6 or 7 a game.
Yeah, but I mean, so is I mean, yeah. I mean, I understand that. Yeah. I mean, I guess I get that point.
All right, did you see the news today? Danny Ainge is going to go to Utah and be CEO.
Yep.
So what is this? He just wanted out of the high-pressure situation in Boston? Or he wanted back into basketball? Because I feel like he just left one job. He left one kind of crappy job for a little bit better of a job in Utah. Like, I feel like it's on the same length. He's just going to have a harder time getting players.
Dude, honestly, man, I think Danny Ainge is I think it's an image thing with Danny Ainge. I think that he went to Utah because Utah still has a good chance of getting to the Western Conference Finals. The Celtics right now don't even look like they'd come out of the East in the Eastern Conference semis. So, if I was Danny Ainge, I probably would have done the same thing.
So, who is your surprise team this year? Listen, let's go through this real quick. Hang on. Let me see. So the standings for the NBA currently in the East are, if my phone loads, are Brooklyn, Chicago, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Miami, Philadelphia's in that 6th seed, and then 7 through 10 is Washington, Charlotte, Boston, and Atlanta. Hey, thanks, Simeon. You're still there.
It's what I do. I just turned my camera off so it would focus on you.
But I was going to ask you though, Makai. I guess to your point about Stephen Curry being, like one of the greatest point guards of all time.
Right.
I guess what's hard is like when you have a guy like Nikola Jokic playing the way that, because I mean I think career average. I think he's like at 6 or 7 assists a game as well. And you could fact check me on that. But I mean, you have a guy like that who's running the court and he's playing the 5. I think it's really hard to put these players into like specific designated roles. Like I just don't think that's the way the NBA works.
The NBA is definitely more of positionless basketball. Jokic this year is averaging 7 assists.
Jokic this year, okay, so here's what people don't understand. Jokic this year, so you know what his PER this year is? He has like a PER of like 34. Okay,
Simeon,
that's like...
Is that 6 or 8 for Steph Curry career?
Career is 6.5.
So that, I mean, he is a point five. But go ahead, his PER.
Yeah, no. So Nikola Jokic PER. So I wanted to present an argument on the podcast because it needs to be talked about because somebody's talking about it. Nikola Jokic is, in my mind, the lead candidate for MVP this year. He is outplaying everybody in the NBA right now. Nobody's talking about it. His PER is through the roof, and he's averaging like 26. I think he's greater than 7.
26, 7, and 13. Yep. We'll call it 14 to be really nice.
With nearly 1 block a game. Like, nobody's putting up numbers like this guy. I mean, he doesn't have the team around him to support him right now. I mean, and Denver's not a huge market team, but he's playing the lights out.
Well, again, Denver's in the 8th seed, 8.5 out of first, but they're only 2.5 out of this of the 6th seed. Well, first of all, for people who don't know, including myself, what is PER? What is that?
Player efficiency rating.
Which means what?
So player efficiency rating is literally just like compiling all of the statistics that you see before the PER, and then it's some equation that they use to get the player efficiency rating. So basically, what it means is like LeBron James, higher player efficiency rating because of his impact on the court, basically. So like Nikola Jokic, higher PER because of what he's doing. How many points per game is he generating? All of those things are factored into that. Okay.
All right. So he is. Well, I mean, is he outplaying Giannis this year?
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Who was Jokic was MVP last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's MVP candidate this year. I mean, everybody's putting Steph up there, and Stephen Curry's been shooting like garbage the past 7 games. I haven't even enjoyed watching the Warriors. I mean, last night he didn't make a 3 from the first quarter to the third quarter. Like it just. I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, they have a good team. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love watching Stephen Curry. he's, everybody gets really hyped when he goes on a 3-game, he made, 8 threes that game, averaged 36 points. I mean, he's been putting up trash. No, I mean, and get this, like Stephen Curry is shooting under 40% from 3 this year. That's not, I know that he's shooting him at a high clip, but still though, I expect Stephen Curry to be shooting at least 42% from beyond the arc.
But is that because he's having to take a James Harden role and he might be forcing? Do you think, especially in the last couple games, do you think he's kind of forcing threes because he wanted the record? So do you think he'll kind of back off on that clip? Because I would assume, because Steph's a smart player, Steve Kerr, he's one of the smartest and greatest coaches of all time, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't think the Warriors would be doing what they're doing right now if Brown and Kerr weren't comprised the coaching staff. I think they underestimate the assistant coaching staff too. I mean, everybody on that team is super solid as far as coaching and upper management's concerned. Golden State Warriors have that figured out. I mean, they take Jordan Poole. Who's Jordan Poole?
Okay, I know who Jordan Poole is. He played at Michigan, okay? He made a Final Four.
Well, but right. But you know what I mean, though. Like, a lot of people don't,
He had a really bad freshman season to help Jeb out here. He had a really bad freshman season, came back and exploded onto the scene. He didn't look like that good of a recruit coming out of college. Yeah. He was drafted high, but then he just kind of came out of nowhere and showed everybody, hey, he's a really good role player, fifth man type of guy.
So in his last 10 games, Steph Curry is shooting 37% from 3 and 38.6% from the field. This season, he's just under 40% at 39.9. Okay, so let's not freak out. Let's just calm down. Okay,
that's fair.
I think that he kind of got in this, I want to get this record sort of as soon as possible so it's not looming over my head.
Yes. I don't think. I think he just plays that way.
No, because I think we've seen kind of other guys do this when they get close to a record. They kind of force it, and they kind of. And they just want to get it so bad that's kind of all they think about. I mean, we can go back and let's look here. Let's see how many. So I can't even see his last games. Game log. Maybe that's it. So in his last set,
you can look at his last 10. You want to look at his last 10? Yeah,
look at his last 10.
Yeah.
He's shooting 36-6, like we said. But, he's taking...
he's taking under... I'd say average he's taking 20 shots a game.
Yeah, he's taking 20 shots a game. I would like to see what he was before that because... it's right here. His efficiencies just kind of fell off.
Yeah, and see, that's my problem with Stephen, the reason, the Warriors, the year before Kevin Durant came, the Warriors, they were designed to blow through the Western Conference, but they weren't designed to beat the Cavaliers because Stephen Curry isn't that type of a player. The way that he plays during the regular season doesn't really work in the playoffs. And I know, you'll make the argument, he did really good that year. Kevin Durant was injured, and they he looked really good against the Rockets. I'll give you that. But he really had to change his style of play. I think everybody's really, really hyped on the Warriors, and I want the Warriors to go to the championship more than anybody because they're the most entertaining team in NBA to watch. But I just don't trust. I don't trust Stephen Curry. I don't trust his playing style to win them the championship. So not especially if they beat Brooklyn in the I think Brooklyn beats the Warriors all day.
So a couple things. Number one, I will call you out. At the beginning of last year, we had you on as well, and we talked about Steph Curry, and you said Steph Curry's over the hill, and Steph Curry can't shoot anymore, and Steph Curry's too old, and Steph Curry's trash. Mm-hmm. And now here we are. He's probably going to be MVP this year if he keeps it up. Number two, so he went from shooting in He went from shooting 42% from 3 in November to 36% in December. But here's what he did. He went starting at December 3rd, the win over Phoenix. 6 for this is from 3. 6 Phoenix. 6 for 11 from 3, 5 for 17, 7 of 13, 6 of 17, and then when he hit that 6 for 17, that's when he made the comment, I want to go for 16 against Philly or what, he was joking around. That's when he fell off. 3 of 14, 5 of 15, 5 of 14. So I think that once that's in sight, like, he was doing okay, and then he just kind of got that, it's in sight, I can get it. I think he started pressing, he started taking shots he normally wouldn't. I mean, I would bet my next paycheck, which I would not do, but I would bet my next paycheck that if you sat him down and be like, have you been pressing these last 3 games to get this record? He would be like, absolutely, I've taken some shots I would not normally have taken.
I feel like he would say that, though, ever since I'm not saying Stephen Curry isn't a great player. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think he's probably top 3 in the NBA right now. There's no doubt. But I don't think that his play style is reliable. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's. I think that the Phoenix Suns, if Phoenix continues, and Devin Booker, like, he had, I think it was a hamstring or something, but, like, no big issues there. Like, Phoenix looks better equipped to beat the Warriors than the Warriors do Phoenix. I think Phoenix beats the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals.
Well, Phoenix always looks better equipped to do everything in the playoffs until they fall flat on their face at some point. So I'm not worried about Phoenix at all, because Phoenix.
That's the story of the city of Phoenix.
Because Phoenix can't get it done. Simeon, can you look up the top players of this player efficiency rating, please? Because
it's Nikola Jokic. He's the top. He's literally like the best in history. I've already looked this up.
He
has the highest PER in NBA history
as of right now.
As of ever, NBA history, he has the highest PER.
Even over LeBron.
Yes.
By how many points?
This season by 12.
So LeBron's last 10 games have been on fire. But I will, the Western Conference is Golden State leads Phoenix by half a game. That's the win that they have. And then it's Utah 3 back, Memphis 6 back, LA, both LA squads 5 and 6, then Dallas, Denver, Minnesota, and the Kings. So with that being said, I want to go back to kind of my original question because we got sidetracked. The surprise team of the year. So it's Jokic followed by Giannis. And then who's next? Willie Hernan Gomez?
Yep, and then Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant. Number 7, JaVale McGee. I just wanted to say that.
JaVale McGee. So, I mean, he's beaten Giannis by 4 points. Also, Giannis is having a pretty good year.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, anyway, back to the original question. Who's the surprise team? East and West. Give me the surprise team in both conferences, East and West.
I mean, for the West, definitely the Warriors. You mean as far as coming into the season or like right now?
It can be either, and it can be good and bad. Like give me, like, if there's a team that you expected to be really good, that's terrible. If there's a team that is really bad, that you expected to be great. Like the most surprise team in the East. Let's start there.
So in the East, the Bulls for sure.
So you would rank them over Cleveland. Cleveland's sitting at the 4 seed right now.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Cleveland hasn't done anything without one King James on the roster. So you're giving me Chicago, who was in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2012, over Cleveland
10 years ago.
that hasn't been relevant if LeBron James is not on the team.
Well, okay, so I understand what you're saying, but I guess what I'm saying is that Cleveland has had more attention in the past 5 years than Chicago has. Like, Chicago hasn't been a team since Derrick Rose, had his MVP season. So I have to give the biggest surprise or, wow factor to the Bulls because of how well they're pulling off the DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball combo. Like, they all look really good. Zach LaVine looks really good. Like, they're all...
Anthony Caruso.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony Caruso looks really good. I mean, he looked good for the Lakers, but he's a great role player. So I'd have to give the biggest wow. I mean, I understand what you're saying about Cleveland. Don't get me wrong, but nobody cares about Cleveland. So even if they're fourth seed in the East,
he's not wrong, guys.
Even if they're fourth seed in the East, like, I don't expect that to go anywhere. After the Christmas break, they're going to get blown out of the water and get pushed below. Like, I don't expect that to really go anywhere.
All right,
I mean, who's going to carry them? Who's going to carry them to the what Ricky Rubio is going to carry?
Dude, no, bro. Jared Allen, bro, man.
Jared Allen.
Bro, man. No, I do want to stop there with Chicago. Chicago has 9 players on the COVID list, right?
Yeah.
So we had a question, because I posted an Instagram post saying, give me some of your questions so I can ask our NBA expert. The question was, the Bulls have postponed their next 2 games because they don't have enough players. Why didn't the NBA do the same thing when the Sixers dealt with it earlier in the season, went from 9-2 to now they're a 500 team?
Why they didn't do that? I think probably kind of like to your point during the what's going on in the NFL right now. I think that when that happened with the Sixers, I think right now you're just seeing a bigger trend in COVID cases. So I think that the NBA is taking it more seriously. And it may be because, and I don't know, I don't have like this information, but I don't know how many players are getting their booster shots. Do you know anything about that? Or if like players are like, willingly going and getting their boosters?
No.
Because I know the NBA largely is really representative of kind of a, well, actually I would kind of give that to all of the sports organizations right now, like the NFL and the NBA. Like, they've been really outspoken antagonists against the vaccine. So, and I definitely don't think Kyrie Irving has, done a really good job representing the NBA in that regard. So I think that if Kyrie Irving is where he's at, I think that there's still a lot of vaccine hesitancy in the NBA. And so, there could potentially be some players that are getting their boosters, and Adam Silver wants to play it safe. I mean, it's probably something related to that.
Kyrie Irving posted a video on Instagram showing him putting on his basketball shoes and lacing up. Woj reported that the Knicks are hopeful that he will play basketball at some point this season. Whether or not that be...
The Nets, ladies and gentlemen, the Nets, not the Knicks. If Kyrie Irving was on the Knicks, we'd be having a different story.
Well, they'd be a lot...
Right. Maybe no different because he wouldn't have gotten vaccinated.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
The Nets believe that he will either play at some point, whether that be on the road game, maybe he is going to get vaccinated, maybe he'll get traded. If he gets vaccinated, it's almost a slam dunk the Nets are winning the finals.
You think?
Well, no, I'm posing the question because last year, they almost beat Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals, or the semis, wherever they met in the semis, with Kevin Durant and a one-legged James Harden. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, James Harden, who you said is playing like trash, is all of a sudden found out his role, and now it's almost over for every team. Give me your take on Brooklyn.
Well, I'll address the Kyrie Irving point first. So,
okay.
I think that if Kyrie Irving comes back to Brooklyn, I think that I think they're going to blow through the Eastern Conference. Obviously, my only hesitancy with giving Brooklyn that title shot with Kyrie Irving is back is really just because Kyrie Irving. That's it. I think Kyrie Irving could come back, and then something else could come up, and then Kyrie Irving isn't there. Like, Kyrie Irving just, hypothetically,
he's flaky.
If he was on the roster, no doubt, if they were playing like they were last year when they almost beat Milwaukee without Kyrie, yeah, for sure. Like, I think that they'd blow everybody out of the water. But I just don't trust Brooklyn in that respect, and I also think that. like some of their pick. Like I think Blake Griffin, he looks. He's like, and then LaMarcus Aldridge, it doesn't look too great. Like, so they have 3 good players on Brooklyn, and that's. And really 2 right now that are playing, and then they have 1 that needs to get vaccinated. But other than that, I don't really have a lot of confidence in Brooklyn. I still think that Miami could upset. I think Miami could upset Brooklyn in the Eastern Conference playoffs for sure if they get matched up.
Last 10 games for James Harden, he's shooting 25% from 3, but he's shooting 90% from the free throw line. He's got 9 rebounds, 11 assists, and he's scoring 21 points a game. So he's kind of found his groove, I think, a little bit to just close out that point.
Yeah, he looks like James Harden from Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I just need to transform back into my previous self when I was at OKC with Kevin Durant.
But he's a better rebounder and playmaker now.
He's a big guy.
Philadelphia, I feel like, is the forgotten team in the East just because of the whole Ben Simmons saga. Everyone on this podcast knows we have covered Ben Simmons. He is still not reported. The Sixers have gone back to fining him because he's not cooperating with team doctors in terms of seeking help for his mental status.
Where's the trade at, real quick? Also, there was a 3 or 4 team trade.
I
that
didn't
was
see
in the
anything.
works.
I know that the Blazers said Lillard's not on the table. But Portland's sitting in the 11 seed right now. I mean, they're if you're Portland, how do you not? It's time to rebuild this thing. McCollum's on IR basically for the next couple weeks. So I'm not. So let's just remove Portland from the equation. If Philly were to get a shooter or a group of shooters to go around Embiid, some Steph Curry type players, and maybe a ball handler that can kind of run point for them outside of Tyrese Maxey. Is Philly a sleeper in the East, or do they not have enough? Does it have to be a superstar or Ben Simmons for them to make a run?
Well, right now they don't make a run. If they see, we've talked about this before. I think the type of player that Philadelphia needs is like Bradley Beal. I think if they had Bradley Beal, I think that they'd definitely be a sleeper in the Eastern Conference. I would like. And one thing I've been kind of disappointed is I really wanted Seth Curry to have a breakout year, where he was averaging 20, 24 a game, shooting 43% from the 3, but he hasn't really done that yet. I think he's averaging 16 a game right now. So
I mean he's shooting 45% from 3, but
no,
only
don't
16.
Don't get me wrong. He just doesn't have a lot of productivity, and I don't know if that's because Doc Rivers is the head coach, but I really wanted him to have a breakout season, and I was disappointed. I thought that the Brett Brown 76ers were the ultimate sleeper team in the Eastern Conference every year that he was coaching. I think it could have went either way. I think the things that inhibited Philadelphia when Brett Brown was coaching were not, to the faults of Brett Brown. I think Doc Rivers was a good pickup, but he doesn't have a good track record with teams like that. So I don't think that Joel Embiid is the guy that's going to lead that team to the NBA Finals. I really don't. I think that he's injury prone, and I think he's just going to keep getting injured into older age, and I don't see him aging well. I think, I think Joel. How old is Joel Embiid right now?
He's 27.
27. Yeah, I think once if he keeps getting injured like this, I just don't see it being an up for Joel Embiid. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in him.
So then your timetable is clearly ticking, which it makes this why Daryl Morey wants a superstar for Ben Simmons. So I see why they're sitting on him, but at the same time, Joel Embiid, when he's healthy, is one of the most dominant. He's basically Shaq. Right? He's Shaq, except he's more injury prone. So you got to take advantage of this. I'm not saying dump Ben Simmons for nothing or dump Ben Simmons for pick and bench and role players, but you got to speed this process up and get something for Ben Simmons to get this, because I feel like the Sixers are just kind of in this holding period. They're sitting right around 500. They're 2 games above, 15 and 13. Again, they're 5 games out of first, but they're only 2.5 games out of second. So I feel like the Sixers are just kind of waiting around to see what happens with Simmons, and once it gets cleared up, they're just gonna and then it's go time, and then we can really find out what we have in the Sixers.
Yeah, well, I've heard rumors that because James Harden didn't renew his contract.
That is correct.
So I've heard rumors that Daryl Morey is going to try to make moves to get him next year. And I think that if the Nets fall on their face in the playoffs, I think it could be a very good chance that James Harden goes to Philadelphia.
So James Harden will be 34, won't he? Isn't he
I think he's like 33 or 34 or something like that.
Right, so you're getting an aging James Harden who is ball-centric. And so what? This is to keep Embiid? This is to pair him with an Embiid. So I mean,
you'd have to get. But obviously, that trade would obviously.
Did Philly? It is my personal belief. Philly blew this when they wouldn't trade Simmons for Harden last year to the Rockets.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that was the window open when Harden was available. You move 4 first-round picks and Simmons to Houston for Harden, and now your window swings wide open, but now it's slammed shut and Philly's done because Milwaukee. Giannis is there forever. Giannis is 25 years old. Giannis is going to be there forever. He's going to outlast KD. He's going to outlast, I'm sure, this Bulls team because, let's be honest, it's Chicago. It's DeMar DeRozan. It's Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball. At some point, one of those things are going to fall flat on their face. Cleveland, Miami, Butler's getting old. We all know about Philly, and then Boston is a shit show in and of itself. Is Boston one of the most disappointing teams to you? They're sitting in the 9 seed.
Oh yeah, no, Boston's. I don't even like watching Boston. I don't even like.
Is this?
Jason Tatum looks good. He looks good.
So is this more to show that their coach was holding it together, that he's a terrible GM, or that Boston is just or that Boston messed up all those picks that they had, like Oklahoma City has?
I think it's that. I also think too, like Boston. When it was. Back in when Isaiah Thomas was like, and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, there was like this magic, in Boston that was keeping that team going. Kind of like the same magic that's keeping the Warriors intact right now. But they lost that when I think they wanted Jason Tatum, because I think everybody got really confident in Jason Tatum when he was playing LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they were like, oh yeah, he's like, he's going to be the next coming of, Kobe Bryant mixed with Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's tall, he can shoot, but I just don't think Boston's got it there anymore. I just think the spirits left Boston, and I don't expect them to be a good team for years.
Let's go over to the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers, you and me saw this coming. They put together an entire team basically of AARP members. Their entire team, I think, is over the age of 33. I'm pretty sure.
It's like an average age of like 32. Yeah, it's something crazy like that.
It's something ridiculous. LeBron has come on late since coming back from an injury, but LeBron's starting to show father time. A little more injury prone here. Anthony Davis clearly is not the player everyone seems to think he was, because Anthony Davis is either hurt or he's terrible.
But he's leading the team like in all major stats right now, though.
Okay. Well, then let me rephrase it. Anthony Davis is either hurt or he doesn't have an impact on the game.
Exactly, yeah.
Anthony Davis, ever since New Orleans, whenever he is healthy and plays, it doesn't matter. He doesn't impact the game for as much as he does. He blocks shots. He does it all. He blocks shots, he rebounds, he offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. He scores. He can hit a three. He can hit the paint. It just doesn't matter. And then you have Russell Westbrook, Is this a Russell Westbrook problem? Is this the team is old? Is this a coaching problem? And where do you expect them to finish the season out? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So on your Anthony Davis point, I mean, this is like, and we talked about this too, and I don't like LeBron James. If he's ever the GM of a team, he's going to be a terrible GM. Like, he doesn't, like, I don't think he really knows how to put players together very well. And I mean, you can make a solid argument that in Cleveland he did like an okay job, but like he came into Cleveland with Kyrie already there. So really the only player that he got was Kevin Love. But even like with the Miami thing, that really didn't work out for LeBron, I think, the way he thought it was going to. Yeah, I mean, he got a few championships out of it, but I mean, that was pretty much it. He got 2. But Anthony Davis is literally the same player that he's been his entire career. He's great. He's a fantastic role player, but that's it. He doesn't, he was kind of like a DeMarcus Cousins for the Sacramento Kings. You kind of understand? Like really, really good. Like one of the best DeMarcus Cousins, one of the best big man like of his time, which was only a few short years. DeMarcus Cousins was great, but he didn't really impact the teams he played on. And same thing with Anthony Davis. He just was a really poor choice, I think, for LeBron James. I know he got a championship out of it in the bubble, but I mean, I don't even know if I consider that a real championship. I don't even know what that was. That was really weird. So
well, that was the greatest player of our generation got a 3-month break to reload and think about how he's going to beat every single team, and then just executed that plan flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, though, like on your point, though, as far as one of the most disappointing teams in the Western Conference, definitely Dallas.
Yeah, so, all right. Well, let's stop there. So it came out today. There was an article that Luka did not like Rick Carlisle, the former coach, at all.
Saw that,
Is this, they're 1 game over 500. They're in the playoff right now. They're the 7 seed, 8.5 back of first, 5.5 out of third. Is this a Jason Kidd coaching thing, getting used to Luka having to play a new role? The roster's not very good. Why is Dallas so bad?
I predict that after the All-Star break, Dallas is going to go on a run. I just have I have a feeling. But I think that, well, think about do you remember when Jason Kidd first started coaching Milwaukee?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, they were, really like similar looking teams. Like if except Giannis wasn't like in his prime, so it was like a little different than Luka, because Luka's in his prime right now.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that I think Jason Kidd is a good coach. I think he would have been better for Lakers than Frank Vogel. I think they just need time, but they're definitely, the way that they've started and the way that Luka Doncic is playing. Somebody made the comment. I think it was one of the. I think it was Jay Smith on First Take, and this was like when Luka was like shooting the lights out his second year in the NBA, and they had made the comment that his play style he kind of like peaked already. You know what I mean? And it's really not. He can't really go up anywhere from where he's been, and he's kind of proving that like in his play style. I think he. Ever since last year in the playoffs, Luka comes out super strong the first 2 quarters, and then after halftime, I don't know if he just gets gassed. He doesn't really particularly look in good shape either. Have you seen him?
He did make a comment that he is out of shape and it's completely his fault. But I think he left the NBA after a short off season, right? Last year, right? Mm-hmm. It was only 72 days.
Yep.
And then he went to Lithuania and got them in the Olympics and made a run in the Olympics. So he got no time off, essentially. Because then he came right back. So I think that he took that time off, but, when you stop moving, then the pound, and you keep eating, the pounds, go back on.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's an Allen Iverson thing where he just needs the season to progress and he's got to kind of run himself into shape a little bit.
Yeah.
Completely. So we'll keep an eye on Dallas. Completely switching kind of topics here.
Mm-hmm.
Is Zion quickly transitioning into a bust?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, Zion has not been healthy at all. The New Orleans Pelicans just shut him down. When was that? Last week again, this time for his foot. I don't even know what surgery he had on his foot, but it's sore. His ankle's sore. So Zion's gone from someone who averages like 25 and 12, and again, kind of is that Anthony Davis, doesn't really impact games, but, is a wow because he jumps out of the gym, to he might be another kind of Anthony Bennett, what could have been bust situation.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that whole situation, I mean, I can't tell you how excited I was to, watch New Orleans play when he came into the league, because I loved watching him at Duke. I mean, holy crap, I've never seen more entertaining college basketball in my life than when he was playing for Duke. But, I mean, you give a 300-pound guy springs, and that's what happens. He wears himself down. And that was, one of the comments that some of his coaching staff, even at Duke, was saying. They were like, you have to, slow down, because he plays at such a high pace when he does play, so he just makes himself more injury prone. Even if you watch, too, the way that he lands, when he jumps in the air, somebody did an analysis on this, and when he jumps and he comes down, he comes down flat on his feet. So the way that obviously he's absorbing those falls isn't as good as somebody who's coming down a little more gracefully, and that's just because he weighs. I mean, dude, he was just the other night he was doing a shoot around. I mean, he's 310 pounds right now. I mean, he's super, super big, but I mean. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he comes back and, is doing what he did his rookie year. I mean, his rookie year, he looked great. He looked fantastic his rookie year. Yeah,
eventually when he got on the court.
Yep.
What second-year player or rookie right now is making you go, this player's going to be a problem for the rest of the league in about 3 years?
That's a good question. I don't want to talk about it, because I just totally threw them under the bus earlier. But do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. Who'd you talk about?
Probably Evan Mobley.
You didn't talk about Evan Mobley earlier.
Well, he plays for Cleveland.
I see. Well, I mean, LaMelo, he's in his second year, right? So.
Okay. So first, second year. I thought we were just talking about rookies. I mean, hands down, LaMelo Ball for sure.
Is
no doubt
LaMelo better than Lonzo?
Oh yeah.
If LaMelo,
I think, but on that point, I think that Lonzo is going to be a more durable NBA player. I think Lonzo will keep a job longer than his brother will.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. If LaMelo or Lonzo were standing in the middle of a highway, tied down, and your wife was there as well, which one would you save? Because you have a man crush for these Ball brothers that I have never seen before.
Dude, probably LaMelo. I'm just kidding.
It's so you have been on the Lonzo kind of bandwagon to begin with.
I still like Lonzo. I think he's a good player.
I do too. I understand do you think the Bulls make the Eastern Conference Finals?
No.
Okay, good. Because if you did, we were gonna throw hands next time we met up for our 2K battles.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
However, Charlotte's sitting in the 8th seed right now. LaMelo's got them cooking. If LiAngelo finally makes the league,
it's looking like he will.
Do we have to put a mute button on LeVar Ball, the dad? Because I feel like he's annoying as it is already. And does LeVar at some point ruin one of his son's careers?
No, not right now. LeVar's been pretty quiet. I don't think so. I think that he understands how good LaMelo Ball can be, and I think he's kept his mouth shut because of that. And I would too if my sons were, signing $18 million contracts. So, yeah, I mean, he hasn't really been too vocal over the past few years.
This season, kind of when LiAngelo got that G League contract with Charlotte, he started talking again about how he wants LiAngelo with the Clippers.
Well, he had one with Detroit as well, and then Detroit let him go.
Well, right, but now he's with Charlotte. So he's kind of been chirping a little bit more the closer LiAngelo gets to the league. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of feel like he's definitely the reason Lonzo got picked second overall or third or whatever it was by the Lakers.
Yeah, second.
And it was the reason Lonzo got traded from the Lakers. I mean, that and LeBron James.
Probably.
I just feel like at some point his son's LaMelo in particular is going to take a decline because I think Lonzo's kind of distanced himself. Like Lonzo's kind of found his own track in Chicago and he's his own man. Like LaMelo's going to dip or something's going to happen and his dad's going to talk and then LaMelo's going to find himself out of the league.
I think that maybe, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think that Michael Jordan, I could see Michael Jordan getting LiAngelo on the roster, at least in Charlotte, because it's revenue for Charlotte. You know what I mean? Charlotte's a small market team. They don't sell out their arena at all. So I mean, I think getting him on there and LeVar, maybe talking some crap here and there. I mean, I think it's good for box office sales.
I do. So, did you have any other topics you wanted to mention or talk about that I have not brought up?
I really just wanted to talk about what I mentioned in the beginning. I just wanted to make it known how good Nikola Jokic is because nobody's giving him the credit for it.
Okay, listen, Simeon, I don't know if you remember this. Last year, I was on the Nikola Jokic for MVP bandwagon almost from the very beginning.
Correct.
So I am well aware, and our listeners, meaning my mother mostly, is well aware that...
And that one guy who I don't think you answered the question for.
Who? Carlos?
Yeah.
Jeb answered his question.
All right.
What did he...
Carlos, at Micaiah if he didn't answer your question.
Well, Carlos has my personal cell number, so Carlos can text me. Me and Carlos are buddies now.
What was the question?
The question was, why didn't the NBA kind of give the Sixers more leeway and kind of when the Bulls did as well? So.
Oh no, okay, I stand corrected. You did answer
exactly.
The question.
So you know what? I am a host. I do know what I'm doing. I might be Captain Boring, but I get the job done.
Yeah, that's debatable at best. Am I building Legos right now? That is the question.
I'm thinking the answer is yes there. All right. Well, if you want to have a debate, then let's have a debate. Jokic is not better than Giannis.
Ooh, shots fired.
Okay, why? Because Giannis won the championship?
No, because Giannis is the more dominant player. Giannis can do everything that, not now, but as soon as Giannis can do everything that Jokic can do, Giannis is going to be the better player.
So who was better? Let me ask you this then. Here's who was better, Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay. Then why don't you think Nikola Jokic is better than Giannis?
Because Giannis did more with less talent.
You mean as far as like his team?
No, as far as him.
So you mean as far as his prospects coming into the league, he's built himself up to where he's at versus...
No, I'm saying if you look at Giannis right now, right? Giannis is what? A slasher who can jump out of the gym, block or defend all 5 positions, and sometimes shoot a bit, right?
Yeah.
And yet he has a championship and he averaged 40 points in the NBA Finals. Jokic has all of these talents, right? And they're great talents. He passes. He's one of the best passing big men in NBA history. I mean,
he is.
You mentioned his PER, his player efficiency. He rebounds. He blocks about a shot a game. He can score. He runs the offense from the elbow. Great. He's a point center. The West was to be taken last year. The West was open and will be. And I understand, but he had a pretty good team last year and the year before in the bubble. And we got nothing from him.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's just the competitions in the Eastern and Western Conference totally different. I mean, who did Milwaukee? I mean, Milwaukee almost lost to a crippled Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn should have won that series. What was Giannis doing in that series that was so great? I mean, yeah.
Giannis was averaging like 35 in that series.
Who was on the Phoenix Suns roster who was going to stop Giannis?
No one's on the Phoenix Suns roster. But who was on the Phoenix Suns roster that was going to stop Jokic? Nobody, and everybody stopped Jokic.
But that's different. Jokic had nobody.
I'm saying that Jokic has no wow. Jokic cannot take over a game. Jokic cannot go get you 45, put his head down, give you everything he's got, and give you 45, 20, and 7, right?
But the reason I think he's better, though, is because I think that Nikola Jokic is just, I think his market value far exceeds what Giannis's market value. I think you put Giannis in another franchise, and he's not as impactful with another superstar as Nikola Jokic would be. Like, I think if Nikola Jokic was with, I think if he was with another superstar right now, I mean, I don't even think we'd be having this conversation.
No. Because Jokic to be effective, to have that great player efficiency ratings, has to be the point guard. So if you give him with another superstar outside of a Klay Thompson or a Steph Curry, right, someone who moves off the ball and can shoot the lights out, right, who are you going to put with that is not ball dominant? Literally, Giannis doesn't run the offense. It's Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. Sometimes Giannis at the end of games stands in the corner and does nothing because that's just, the play call or whatever. But Jokic has to be involved to actually make an impact. Giannis doesn't have to be involved to make an impact. Someone is glued to Giannis 24/7, and someone's not glued to Jokic 24/7.
But okay, so I get what you're saying, but that's not a measurable impact, though. Like,
sure it is.
My argument is that Nikola Jokic has greater measurable impacts on his team and on the game than Giannis Antetokounmpo does. And to me, that makes him a better player than Giannis Antetokounmpo this season.
It might make him a better player on paper, but that doesn't make him a better player when it comes down to the nitty-gritty.
I agree. I mean, I understand. I get what you're saying, but I still, listen, like, PER is like one of those gold standard measurements in basketball, and he's blowing everybody out of the water. Like, if that guy is on the court, like, stuff is getting done, and like I said, I just don't think he has the right people around him. I mean, if Denver's roster would have worked out, I think, the way they wanted it to, and they would have been healthy the past 2 years, like I said, I don't think we'd be having this conversation right now. But I don't think that things have gone well for Denver. That's why I think that they look the way they do.
I think you're overvaluing PER a little bit, because if you look at the top 10 that Simeon pulled up from earlier, the PER for this year, it's one player from like the top 2 or 3 from each conference. Like, Giannis is the only one at the top. Everyone. So I think you're overvaluing PER a little bit, and you got to go more. Again, all stats are meaningful, but you got to use more of your eye test, my dude.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I get it. I get the whole, like, oh, you just got to look. And this is, and And what you're saying has been a long-standing argument in the NBA, which is that, like, because you could even make that argument like LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, because you could say, like, on paper, LeBron James may look better than Michael Jordan, like, over his career, like what he's done. But everyone's going to say that Michael Jordan is the best player of all time because it's Air Jordan. You know what I mean? So, like, I get what you're saying. I just think that we have a different conversation if Nikola Jokic is on a different team.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope that Jokic does get a decent 2. Like, he does need a little. He needs a running mate.
For sure.
This Jamal Murray kid is either hurt or he's hot and cold. I mean, when he's hot, boy, is Jamal Murray hot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's absolutely hot. All right, before we wrap up here, I will let you have any pick of any team and home field advantage if you can name 2 out of the 4 college football playoff teams currently in the college football playoff. So I will let you, next time we get together to play 2K and have some beers and you make wild accusations like Dwayne Wade's career peaked rather suddenly, which is true, but it was just out of the blue. You make comments like that without Googling it. Stop Googling it.
I'm not.
Okay. I will give you pick.
He's totally Googling it.
No, I'm not. I swear.
I will give you a pick of any team and home court advantage if you can name 2 out of the 4 college football playoff teams.
How many are there?
There's 4. You have a 50%. You have to get 50% on this test. And if you lose, I get home field advantage and I get to pick any team. I mean, you'll still beat me because that's how this has been going. But go ahead.
Penn State.
Okay. All right. I will give you 1, and you just have to get another one. Alabama.
Cincinnati.
Okay.
Did I get it?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
You got it. All right.
Sweet. I listen. I got because I got it on. Like, I just don't actively listen to it.
Okay. All right.
Is Penn State not one of them?
No, Penn State is not one.
No.
Michigan and Georgia are the other 2.
Wait, but on a final note, did you see that boy Brew out of Central York going to Penn State? He's going to be there. He's going to quarterback. He played for my high school, Central York.
Oh, no, I did not see that.
Oh,
yeah.
look at you. That's
signing day.
They need help in the quarterback room.
Well, Sean Clifford's coming back for his 6th year, so he'll have time to sit and wait. Although if it's who's their coach? Mr. Baldman.
James Franklin.
Thank you, James Franklin. If that's any indication, he'll just be, a crappy quarterback in big moments. Anyway, Jeb, thank you so much for being on, my man.
For sure.
We'll definitely have to do this at later some point in the season. Keep checking in, especially when college football winds down. Again, if you are here for college football, we are taking next week off. Next week is Christmas. We will be back the weekend of the playoff, which is New Year's Eve day week. That weekend, a brand new episode, 6 a.m. Friday, to preview the playoff and the New Year's 6 bowl games. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. Simeon's got to stop his Legos to start the music, I guess. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. Be kind.
They just really don't like us today. None of my things are playing.
Be kind to one another. Enjoy your college football Saturday. Enjoy bowl season. It's the most bowlingest time of the year, as the one ESPN commercial said. Jeb, thank you so much for being with us. I am your host, Captain Boring. Simeon, of course. Peace out. God bless.